Hello and welcome back to Reason News. Today we're taking a deep dive into a saga that has captivated a nation for nearly 2 decades. It's the epic and seemingly unending legal battle between telecommunications giant Vodacom and the man credited with inventing the Please Call Me service, Nkosana Makate. Just when we thought we were on the brink of a final decision, a new twist has sent the case right back to where it all began. The Constitutional Court, in a unanimous judgment, has sided with Vodacom, overturning a previous Supreme Court of Appeal ruling that would have seen Makate receive a massive payout. This isn't just a legal victory for the telecom company, it's a monumental setback for Makate and a decision that has everyone asking, how long can this possibly go on? To understand this latest development, we need a quick recap of this epic legal journey. It all began in the year 2000 when Nkosana Makate, then a junior accountant at Vodacom, had an idea, a free messaging service that would allow a user with no airtime to send a Please Call Me request to another user. He claims he was promised reasonable compensation for the idea by a director at the time. The service was launched, it became a phenomenon, and it generated billions in revenue for Vodacom. But Makate never got paid. The first major turning point came in 2016 when the Constitutional Court ruled in Makate's favor, declaring that he was the inventor and that Vodacom was bound by the promise of reasonable compensation. The case then went back to the lower courts. In a stunning ruling earlier in 2024, the Supreme Court of Appeal found Vodacom's offer to be, quote, manifestly inequitable, unquote. It sided with Makate and ruled that he was entitled to a percentage of the revenue generated by the service, specifically between 5% and 7.5% of the total revenue over an 18-year period, plus interest. This would have amounted to a payout potentially in the billions of rands. Vodacom, facing a financial hit that it argued would have devastating consequences for its business and investors, immediately took the matter to the Constitutional Court. And yesterday, the highest court in the land agreed with them, setting aside the SCA's ruling and sending the case back. So why did the Constitutional Court make this decision? In a unanimous judgment, Acting Deputy Chief Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga was scathing in his criticism of the SCA. He found that the SCA had failed in its duty of proper consideration. The court argued that the SCA had effectively disregarded or misunderstood key facts and evidence, and in some instances, its reasoning was confusing. A key point of contention was the SCA's decision to substitute its own order for that of the High Court, which had remitted the matter back to Vodacom's CEO for a new determination. The Constitutional Court found that since Makate had not filed a cross-appeal against the High Court's order, the SCA had no jurisdiction to simply replace it with an order of its own. In simple terms, the SCA overstepped its legal boundaries. Here's a video from eNCA.
Court makes the following order. 1. Leave to appeal is granted. 2. The appeal is upheld. 3. The order of the Supreme Court of Appeal is set aside. 4. The matter is remitted to the Supreme Court of Appeal to be reheard by a differently constituted panel of judges of that court. 5. Each party must pay their own wasted costs in respect of the abortive hearing of the matter in the Supreme Court of Appeal. 6. The first respondent must pay the applicant's costs in this court, including the costs of 3 counsel. I hand down the judgment.
The implications of this ruling are far-reaching. For Nkosana Makate, who was hoping to finally put this behind him, it's a devastating blow. The man who was just months ago on the verge of a massive payday is now back at square one, forced to re-litigate a case he has been fighting for nearly 2 decades. To add insult to injury, the court has ordered him to pay Vodacom's legal costs for this round of the battle, including the costs of 3 senior counsel. For Vodacom, the victory is a huge relief. The company's share price reportedly jumped on the news as investors had a collective sigh of relief that a multi-billion rand payout had been averted. While they have won this round, they now face a prospect of another prolonged legal battle. The matter will be reheard by a differently constituted panel of judges at the Supreme Court of Appeal. This case has become a cautionary tale for both innovators and corporations. For inventors, it highlights the critical importance of having clear, written contracts from the get-go. For companies, it's a stark warning about the long-term consequences of not properly acknowledging and compensating employee-driven innovation. It raises questions about the very nature of justice. Can a legal system that allows a dispute to drag on for 18 years truly be considered just? The Constitutional Court's ruling, while legally sound on a technicality, does little to provide a finality for Nkosana Makate or for the public that has watched this case unfold with a mix of fascination and frustration. It seems that for the story, the final chapter is still a long way from being written. As this unending litigation goes back to the Supreme Court of Appeal, we all are left wondering how much longer this saga can possibly go on. However, we will continue to provide you with updates. But until next time, stay informed, stay updated, and stay curious.